Good afternoon, and thank you for attending my presentation. Free resources are rubbish and useless. I teach special needs students focusing on GCSE and A-level English and literacy. The current cohort includes students with visual and auditory difficulties, autism and dyslexia. During a lesson searching for additional resources, a student made the comment that free resources are rubbish. I knew that that was not entirely true, but realized that they lacked the proper information on how to search for relevant OER and to find fit-for-purpose resources, and that this can have an influence on how they perceive their free and open resources. Literature evaluation benefits from multiple perspectives, and collaboration, communication, and problem-solving are viewed as key 21st century skills. These perspectives, as well as Robin DeRosa's passion for open education, inspired me to create and curate an alternative mini-MOOC using Trello to address these requirements. At a conference, Robin DeRosa encouraged the conference attendees to share their work, even if it's deeply flawed. She described her own work that she had to leave due to a change in her work circumstances as deeply flawed, but that it didn't matter as other people are now working on it. While I doubt that her work was really flawed, I understood what she implied. It is challenging to display your work to the world. But in my opinion, literature analysis from only one perspective will always be flawed. Savanik wrote in a blog that written answers attempted collaboratively by students are always stronger than individual answers. She explains that literature language is so complex that the more eyes and ears that are tuned into a passage, the more nuanced and unpredictable the observations are. My own experience from many years of teachings confirm her observations. The more perspectives and ideas there are about a text, the better your opportunity to uncover your own understanding. We were working on Jekyll and Hyde when the student expressed his feelings about free and open resources, as it is a set text for GCSE literature studies. But it's also a text with powerful themes that are as relevant today as it was in Victorian Britain. I realized my students needed guidance in searching for open resources that are fit for purpose. BBC Bitesize has useful resources, but it's only available online, and questions are mainly multiple choice types. Other resources included those from individual schools and universities, but with no license allowing to be copied or adapted. Websites such as Smoop has too many advertisements, as you can see here. Nearly half of this page is covered in advertisements, of which many has flashing images. These were too distracting for my students, and the resources are only available online as well. Many of my students need to adapt their resources for font size, color, or for text-only documents. We were also looking for more complex and challenging questions that they could attempt together. Inspired by DeRosa's flawed work anecdote, we searched for a platform where I could share my own flawed adaptable resources with my students, and where they can collaborate on the text, but also space to share the resources as open and adaptable to others who might need it. Martin Kay and Moon blog on the effective use of Trello as an educational space, even though it was designed as a project management site. I could see the potential as a space to create and curate educational resources. My school, however, was not too keen on the students using an outside platform, and I had to rethink the process. I decided to create a mini-MOOC on Trello while the students used the school VLE for collaboration. It's not ideal as I couldn't test how well the site performs as a collaborative space. I have one independent student who joined my Trello team. I upload some of his work and he uses the chat area to ask questions. On Trello, you can create a board for different topics, as you can see here. This board is for GCSE English Literature Revision, and this board is open, as you can see they're public, but the board can be closed if you wish to do that. There's a list for each text, so one for Jekyll and Hyde, there's one for Macbeth, one for poetry, and so on. Each chapter in the book is on a separate card, as you can see from these screenshots. That's chapter 1, chapter 3. At the bottom here, you can see the amount of resources available, and there the conversations that happened around this chapter. When you click on one of these pictures, a list of attachments opens. When you click on an attachment, it opens in a browser, or you can download it if it's a Word, PowerPoint, or PDF file. I specified in the opening notes that all the downloadable files are reusable and that anybody who wants to make the adapted resources available can contact me on Twitter. That invitation is still open. Those who had a look at the Trello board would have noticed that most of the resources are PowerPoint or Word documents, or these are the easiest to adapt. One of my students changed all of his resources to a black background and replaced all of the pictures with Superman. If Superman helps him to study, then I'm happy. He's autistic and was appalled when I asked him if I could show his resources at the conference, but I'm sure you can imagine what it looks like. Trello turned out to be very effective for the creation of an alternative mini-MOOC. Why call it an alternative mini-MOOC? I didn't follow the traditional MOOC style. I find the structure effective and therefore created a card with resources for each chapter, typical of MOOCs. I decided against using video. While videos are popular with students, it is not always the most effective, as well as their talking head videos are seldom exciting. And Richardson is concerned that watching without some form of interaction won't promote deep learning. A literature text needs to be analyzed and discussed. You need to take time to think about a sentence or a word or why it's important. It is better to find your own interpretation than to be told what it should be. Traditional MOOCs also tend to rely on multiple choice questions, which is not ideal for literature analysis. I attempted to create more complex questions and, in Brown's words, ideas to tinker with to produce knowledge. Especially for the students I work with, some form of scaffolding is many times necessary to get them thinking, and I created questions to provide this, as you can see here. The text in black is what I provided, and then after considering the question, the student added the text in red. The mini-MOOC will be most effective with small groups or to use in a class with the assistance of a teacher, but it can also be of value to anybody who wants to study the text as informal learning. Dissemination. My plans for dissemination. I've been using Twitter and Scoopit as well as Facebook and Test to create some interest and to find collaborators. Robin DeRosa kindly tweeted my project, and connecting with her opened so many more network opportunities for me. I am, however, still on the periphery in most of the networks, and I believe it will take some time to find new collaborators. I will continue to try and convince the school about the benefits of collaboration for the students, to not only learn about the text, but also to learn about the skills necessary to excel in the 21st century. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annette. Can we have a round of applause, please, for Annette? There you go. There's your applause going in. Thank you, Annette. That was a really interesting presentation, and beautifully explained about what Trello is and how it works and how you use it. There's a question there gone in from Munir, which I'm going to put to you first. Where do you see the future of Trello being used by students and teachers, maybe even between countries?
Well, because it is open, if you choose to open up the board, then anybody can get hold of the resources. Anybody can download any resource that's on there. If you want to collaborate, you have to create a team, however. So, say for instance, Munir and I want to collaborate, then we have to create a team together, and then my student and his students can collaborate on the same. So it would actually be very easy.
Excellent. And what do you feel about the benefits to the students beyond learning about this particular text? Because obviously they're students with particular needs that you're dealing with. How do you think their whole learning experience has benefited? You know, what sort of skills have they gained out of this, using this resource?
At the moment, it is still difficult because the students I work with autism are not very keen on sharing with others. So the collaboration thing takes a bit of time to really get them to open up. So sometimes it is just helping each other. They tend to like that, to help somebody else, but they don't really want to share their resources. So I think it's a long process of just motivating and getting them to see the value of it, which is not something that happens overnight.
Sure, yes. And do you have any plans to help others around you see the value of it? You know, others in the same kind of profession, or in your sort of closer circle of like-minded colleagues. Are you evangelizing about the use of Trello?
I do a bit. I did on test. I uploaded some of the resources that I have on Trello, and then also in the description said that the board is available, and anybody who wants to collaborate is welcome, or if they want to download the resources, they can use it, and they can contact me, and I'll upload it again, and things like that. And on Twitter as well, I joined the English. Kelly actually somehow got me connected to, I think, Women in EdTech, and then through them, I think, English education, and I'm starting to get some responses from there.
Excellent. I really think it's a example that will be shared far and wide, because it really does seem to have met a particular need in a very clever way. There's one quick question. We've only got about a minute, but Carrie's asked, how can you make Trello work sustainable?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to Trello. You know, with these type of this is always the scary part, is that they might just decide, okay, this is not working anymore, so we dump it, and then everything is. I mean, it's happened before on websites where I wrote articles for and things like that. So yes, I don't know. Sorry, I'll think about it.
Well, it is a universal problem. We're facing similar problems ourselves at the moment. But you've done a cracking job, and you've had a huge amount of praise in the chat pane. I would advise you to scroll back through and see what everybody's said. But thank you very much, Annette. Thank you for your answers to the questions. Another round of applause, please.
Thanks, Simon.